Activists are renewing calls for a New York City police officer to be fired for his involvement in the 2014 death of Eric Garner.
This comes after federal prosecutors announced yesterday Officer Daniel Pantaleo will not face criminal charges for placing the 43-year-old black man in a chokehold. Garner then died after telling officers, quote, "I can't breathe."
Joining us now is Eric Garner's mother, Gwen Carr. I want to thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I saw you yesterday. I saw the heartbreak and disappointment and anger upon hearing that after 5 years of investigating,
5 long
you
years.
find out that the Department of Justice is not going to charge this officer. It comes on the eve of the anniversary of your child's death.
Yes, adding insult to injury. And furthermore, we had to hear it through social media. The world knew about it before we did. We're sitting, waiting to have a meeting with the DOJ. It comes over my phone that the Justice Department is not going to bring charges. Everyone is blowing up my phone. We have the DOJ haven't even come into the room yet. And when they did, we says, how could you leak this and have us come down here like this on the eve of my son's 5th anniversary? That is an insult. And they said, oh, we're sorry. You're sorry.
Yeah.
Officer Pantaleo's lawyer says he used approved techniques in the arrest. He says he's, quote, gratified the Justice Department took the time to carefully review the actual evidence. What's your response to that?
He did not use approved techniques. The chokehold is not an approved technique. And then he clasped his hand together and made sure that he choked Eric. That was approved? No. In the guidebook, it said 8 times no chokehold should be used. They are prohibited. They're banned. So why would you put your hand? And they was elaborating on what a chokehold was.
And what was Eric doing? Just remind our audience, what was he doing?
He was sitting outside on a step, him and Ramsey Otto had just came out the restaurant. He was not even selling cigarettes that day. But they had been sent there by the commando of the 120 precinct to make an arrest on someone selling cigarettes. But they did not see anyone selling cigarettes. And in court, it was proved how far away they were from the scene when they seen Eric, and they could not see him selling cigarettes. And when he came up, that's why Eric was telling him, officer, you did not see me do anything. Why are you coming to bother me?
So we're learning now that there was a difference between the 2 divisions of the Justice Department that were overseeing this case, that one division wanted to press charges and the other one didn't. And it was the Attorney General that stepped in and made the final decision.
Yes, Attorney Barr. Well, we know what administration we're under now, so we really are disappointed that this didn't happen, but we are not surprised because we know the bias that's involved with this, you know. But with all of that said, this country is still called America, and we still should have a democracy and have fairness, you know, when things like this happen. You know, things like this shouldn't be political. This is families' lives, and this is how it should be treated. You know, after Eric's death, there was no one who came forward to, like, apologize. You know, they start taking up collections for the police officer. They start trying to get his bail together in case they arrest him. What did they do for the family?
Now, when we heard from the Justice Department, one of the things that they said was there's an extremely high standard here. It's not like what you would see at the state level for a charge. You know, we have to determine that this was a willful engagement, and among other things, they couldn't determine it. The death of your son helped to fuel a movement because people were already upset.
Yes.
And what we have seen over and over again in a number of these cases is really that it's very difficult to prove things the way the law is written, right? That how do you prove willfulness? How do you prove whether or not someone was truly feeling that their life was threatened? Do you think it's time to change these laws?
We have to change these laws because we see that Neither one of those officers felt threatened. The conversation that they had, when they showed it in court, this conversation was over 5 or 6 minutes. Eric had his hands up and he was talking to the officer. The officer was looking from side. He felt no threat from Eric at all. And then the intent, even if it came afterwards, when Eric said he could not breathe, the officer should have let up. He was saying it 11 times. The officer tightened his grip. That is intent.
We thank you so much for being here with us, and we're sorry that it's on such a sad occasion. It's the 5th anniversary.
Yes, it is, and it is sad for us to have received that news yesterday. They had their minds made up before. Why wait to the anniversary to come? They did that last year when we were going to the CCRB. They waited to the day before the anniversary to say, oh, we're going to send a file number so that the CCRB can take it up. Why do this on the anniversary every year? It's just like, you know, like insulting us each time.
I have one more question for you. The city settled, and it was a substantial settlement. When the city agreed to settle, it's a wrongful death suit, did you think that that would indicate some sort of progress on the other fronts, that if it's not the Department of Justice, then you know, the officer is still awaiting his fate in terms of a disciplinary hearing, which just happened, what, a couple months ago? Which it was surprising that it took that long for him. He's still an employee. Did you think, well, the city obviously felt like something happened and the city bared responsibility. What's going on with these other departments that are overseeing this case?
Well, you see, when the settlement come, let's be clear, I didn't get any part of the settlement. You know, the family got the settlement.
He has 6 children.
Yes, his 5 children.
5 children.
Okay, they got the settlement. The wife and the 5 children got the settlement and whatnot. But, because see, if it was me, I would not have taken the settlement. I would have took it all the way. No, because I say...
You didn't want a settlement.
I didn't want a settlement. But they wanted it, and she overruled the settlement. So she got the settlement, okay? But far and foremost, it didn't. I don't care that I didn't get part of the settlement. I'm out here for my son. I'm fighting for him. I don't have to be paid to fight for him, because I'm going to fight for him until the day I die. You know, but I did think that something, you know, that they would admit to something, being that they did pay out this large settlement to them. But it doesn't matter, because even if they had gave me money, the more money they gave me, the more I was going to talk. So, you know, it didn't matter one way or the other.
Well, we appreciate you coming here and talking. I know this is not easy, but like you said, you're going to keep fighting for your son.
Right, and I hope that de Blasio administration does the right thing, fire this officer. He is the chief in charge. He's over everyone in the police department. He could fire this officer and all the rest anytime he wants to. He is the boss.
Gwen Carr, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Carr.